You are listening to Practical and Woo by Mindset and Manifest. My name is Eden, and I invite you to embark on a journey with me to explore the practical and spiritual edges of the unknown for the purpose of allowing you to embody and empower yourself uniquely as you are and to intentionally create and live a life of freedom and fulfillment. Each week, I am going to discuss topics such as energetics, reality creation, manifestation, astrology, tarot, and more to help empower you to live beyond perceived limitations and to practically design your life so it feels like absolute magic every step of the way. Let's dive in. Well, hello, brilliant soul. Today's episode is a powerful tale about the unseen forces that shape our perception of ourselves. It is written inspired by the timeless lesson of the Emperor's New Clothes, but centers around a figurehead named Queen Seraphina, a ruler adorned with divine favor yet blind to her own brilliance. Despite the reverence of her people, she saw herself through a veil of doubt, believing she was unworthy of the crown she bore. But when an outsider's illusion nearly shatters her sense of self, an unexpected guide helps her unveil the truth that the greatest magic lies not in how others see us, but in how we choose to see ourselves. Once in a kingdom woven from stardust and whispered dreams, there ruled a queen named Seraphina. She was the chosen sovereign of Eldoria, a land that thrived under the careful balance of wisdom, magic, and prosperity. From the moment of her coronation, Seraphina was said to possess the favor of the celestial realms. The elders of Eldoria spoke of her as the divine queen, as a being of unparalleled beauty, intellect, and strength. And yet, Seraphina did not in herself see this reflection. From the moment she was crowned, she lived under the weight of doubt. Despite her reverence of her people, the devotion of her court, and the blessings of the high priestess, she carried with her a shadow, a persistent, unshakable feeling that she was not enough. No mirror could convince her otherwise. No song of praise could truly reach her. She believed that her beauty was an illusion, her wisdom was unearned, and her power was granted out of obligation rather than merit. The castle of Eldoria was adorned with golden towers, shimmering gardens, and halls where light danced upon the mosaics on the wall like liquid fire. The kingdom flourished, and yet Seraphina felt a void within herself, an absence she could not name. She adorned herself in the finest silks and rarest gems, believing that if she could wear the right mask, no one would see what she feared was true, that she was ordinary, flawed, and unworthy of the crown that rested upon her head. The grand weaver of Eldoria, an ancient woman named Valora, was the only one who dared to speak the truth that no one else would. One evening, as the sun melted into twilight, Valora approached the queen and said, "My queen, you live as if you are draped in an invisible veil. You do not see yourself as you are, but only as the shadow of what you fear to be. What will it take for you to remove this mask that you wear?" Seraphina laughed softly, though there was no joy in it. "A veil? I wear no such thing." Valora only smiled and placed a hand over the queen's heart. "It is not a veil woven of thread, but of belief, and only you can unweave it." The words haunted Seraphina. She dismissed them. She continued her days as before, ruling with kindness, yet living in quiet uncertainty. Then, one fateful evening, a foreign emissary arrived from the distant kingdom of Umbriel. He was a man of sharp wit and cold calculation, a master of strategy and illusion. His name was Lord Malric, and he brought with him gifts of veiled words. "Your Majesty," he said, bowing low before her, "I have heard much of your radiance, yet I see only a woman like any other. I have come to see and test the truth of your legend." His words struck like arrows, for they echoed the whispers Queen Seraphina carried within her. The court gasped at his boldness, but the queen merely smiled and accepted the challenge. Lord Malric presented her with a mirror crafted by the finest alchemists of his land. "Look into this glass, and you shall see yourself as you truly are," he said, watching her intently. Seraphina hesitated. What if she looked and found nothing of worth? What if the mirror revealed only emptiness? But her court was watching, and so she lifted the mirror and gazed into it. To her horror, she saw nothing but a shadow, a mere silhouette, featureless and empty. A murmur spread through the throne room, causing a sly smirk to emerge across Lord Malric's face. "Ah, so the divine queen is but a myth," he said, feigning sympathy. "Perhaps you are not so different from the rest of us after all." The words struck deep like a knife twisting in her chest. She lowered the mirror, feeling as if the last thread of her self-worth had unraveled. Was it true? Had she only been playing the role of a queen, a puppet in a grand illusion? That night, Seraphina sat alone in her chamber, staring into the darkness. The weight of doubt was heavier than ever. But then a soft and familiar voice stirred in the silence. "Why do you believe in his mirror more than your own reflection?" She turned to see Valora standing in the doorway, eyes filled with quiet knowing. "Because it confirmed what I have always feared," Seraphina admitted, her voice barely a whisper, "that there is nothing extraordinary about me." Valora stepped forward, placing her hands gently upon the queen's temples. "Then tell me, if you believe in the mirror's power, why not believe in mine?" Queen Seraphina blinked and curiously muttered, "Yours?" Valora reached into her satchel and withdrew an old, tarnished mirror, one far humbler than Malric's enchanted glass. "This belonged to my grandmother," she said. "It has no magic, no alchemy, no tricks, but it has one truth. It will show you what you choose to see." Seraphina hesitated, then took the mirror in trembling hands. When she lifted it, she expected another shadow, another empty shell. But instead, she saw something she had never truly seen before, something she never allowed herself to see. She saw herself. Not as a queen, not as a legend, but as a woman of flesh and soul. She saw the depths of her own eyes, the curve of her lips, the quiet strength in her shoulders. She saw the lines of sorrow and joy, the wisdom in her gaze. For the first time, she looked beyond the surface and into the essence of who she was. Tears welled in her eyes. "I see myself." "Yes," Valora whispered, "you see the truth. And the truth is you were never lacking. The only thing that made you believe otherwise was the power that you gave to another's perception." In that moment, the invisible veil shattered, the weight lifted, the spell of self-doubt woven over years of believing in her own fear dissolved into the night. The next morning, Seraphina emerged from her chambers with a radiance unlike any she had ever worn before. Not a radiance of jewels or gowns, but of presence. She called for Lord Malric, and she returned to him his mirror. "Your gift was clever," she said, her voice steady and strong, "but I have found a greater truth. My worth is not measured by tricks of glass or the words of others. My worth simply is, and I see it now." Lord Malric, despite all of his cunning, was left speechless. From that day forth, Queen Seraphina ruled with a newfound confidence, not one of false pride, but of knowing. She no longer sought approval from reflections that were not her own. She walked not as one who needed to prove, but as one who simply was. And in doing so, she became the legend she had always been destined to be. For the greatest magic is not in how the world sees us, but in how we choose to see ourselves. And so the Divine Queen ruled, not because she was told she was great, but because she finally believed it and saw it in herself. Until next time.